As you're thinking of the characters that could exist in this world, I want you to ask yourself a very important question. Whose story is the most important and needs to be told in this version of the play? Because there's hundreds of different ways to tell a story and hundreds of different stories that you could choose to tell. So it's important for you as a group to unpack and really come to a decision as to whose story it is that you're going to follow. Now, you could choose 2 or 3 characters to follow. You could choose one central character to follow, but always have a very clear idea in your mind as to who it is that's at the heart of the story. So, for example, in the fall, we decided that everybody's story was equally as important, but that some characters would take more of a narration role and some characters would be more as if they were supportive roles. There's lots of different ways to come up with a character, and some of it you would have already learnt from the wonderful Allen Committee. But one of the ways is to just play around, put some music on in the background that would have been appropriate to the time period, understand 1 or 2 of the central things and people that need to come out of this. So, for example, in Towers, the show that I created at Guildhall, we knew that some of the people in the play needed to be residents of a building that were going to get evicted. Some of them had to be news journalists, some of them had to be architects, and some of them had to be the actual people who were taking over the building and gentrifying the space. So what we did was we put some music on in the background, and I asked everybody to just go through a characterization process of figuring out how these people walk in the space, starting with your own body, asking yourself, how do they walk in the space? How do their feet touch the ground? How do their hips move? How do their heads move? What are they thinking? How do they talk to each other, interacting with the people in the room around you? This is the way that you're going to find out which of these characters you naturally want to play and which of these characters feel very far away from you. If you're making something that's based completely on your own life and your own body, then it becomes a little bit easier and you start to understand these people in a closer way. Regardless of whether you're working with someone who's quite close to you, yourself, or something that's completely foreign to you, it's always important to keep a little note of who these people are. If you're working on cleaners, what do they like? What do they dislike? What are their interests? I like to draw up a little character biography that includes images, ideas, words, sometimes gestures that they might make. So sometimes I like to have gestures of people where I know that they're going to go, so that's what I put in. Other things that you could include in your character sketch are what their hair color is, what clothing they like to wear, what phrases they like to say. If I was doing a character sketch of myself, I would say, colored, Muslim, lives in Cape Town, likes to travel, does this a lot. Don't know how you would describe it, but that's what I would put in my character bio. Says the word hectic often. So a good way to start off learning how to do these character bios is to start with yourself. Write a little 100-word thing of quick words and descriptions about you, and then do one about your character and see where those things overlap, where they're different, what similarities you can draw on as an individual for when you're starting to improv, and so on.